Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me today with the McKinsey Network. I'm Deborah McKinsey. I'm your host. And we are currently in a mini series called Careers from Home, Entrepreneurs from Startup to Seasoned. And I have an amazing guest for you today. I mean, this guy travels the world. He is probably one of the top marketers in the world, and he's taking the time today to spend with us. He is all about branding, helping you get your name out, your business out. And so we're going to take a few minutes and have a little talk here today. I almost want to call it a fireside chat because I feel like that's what he does. He brings you in, he makes you feel welcome, like you're having a cup of tea or coffee with him, and he's just amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce my guest here today, Ray Perez, he's a global branding expert. Hi, Ray. How's it going today? Where are you calling in from?
I'm in Miami, Florida, downtown Miami, Brickell, and you can see the buildings right behind me.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you again for coming in today and talking with us a little bit. So, Ray, I kind of, we've got beginners, we've got startups here today. And I know you were a startup. I know you were, starting probably from your kitchen table. Can you tell us a little bit of timeline, how you progressed, and also, where you see those different groups, maybe targeting what areas that they need to help them brand to get their business almost up to the final exit strategy, maybe even going IPO or, what their exit is for their company.
Yeah, Deborah. If we go all the way back, I started my first business when I was 14 years old. I started a lawn service called Ray's Lawn Service. And I remember the process of being an entrepreneur and figuring out how to get more customers and how to market and the finance and all the different pieces required to run a business. And I really, as I've gotten older, I've realized how much it is necessary, right? And whether you're a startup or you've been in business for many years, you start to realize that there is a lot involved with being an entrepreneur, being a business owner. And one of the things that I've discovered over the years is that having good support structures, having good mentors, having good coaches is the easiest way to fast track through the learning curve of figuring out what you have to do. And within that, one of the things that I personally figured out for myself, and now it's become one of the services that we provide to our clients, has to do with the area of branding and marketing and sales. Because no matter what industry you're in, no matter what business you're in, there's usually two problems that occur. One problem is called a lead problem. You don't get enough leads into the business. And the second is called a sales or conversion or closing problem, meaning you get the leads, but you don't close or convert as many as the leads as you'd like. Sometimes it's one or the other. Sometimes it's both. So one of the things that I've kind of dedicated and with our company, the Entrepreneurs Agency, it's all about putting together all these different experts in all the different areas of branding, marketing, sales, coaching, consulting, video production, social media, you name it, all the different areas of business, and figuring out where's the business owner, what do they need right now, and what's the plan of action to consistently grow them through this entrepreneurial journey, which takes time, is step by step by step by step, but at the same time, how we can fast track them by kind of giving them all the resources necessary to get to the point of that 6-7 figures in revenue or above. And really, I say this, it really comes down with one principle that I truly believe in, and I've shared with you before. It comes from the place of contribution and giving. Mm-hmm. Building a business, I don't believe, should be about making money. It should be about the impact that business or service makes in the world. So when we teach our entrepreneurs is that as you're building your company, it's not how much money I can make, it's how many people can I serve? How many clients can I support? How can I assist other people in meeting their goals and achieving what they want? By elevating them, then the money will follow. And I share this because this is a very important mindset that I don't believe many entrepreneurs have. And I believe that, people are, and they should be focused on making money because that's how you support yourself and you can support others. But when you shift the mindset from how much can I make to how much can I give or how much can I serve, you actually realize that you make a lot more. And when I made that shift of not only being of service, but leading with service, my business began to explode. Even though I was doing the same work, was providing the same service. Obviously, it's grown and it's bigger and better. But the moment I changed that emotion or that purpose that I had, like the universe responded, and it just brought to me. And if there's anything that I leave, your viewers with, is really consider, why do you do what you do? Not what you do, not how you do it. Why? Why do you do what you do? And when you can focus and zero in on why you do what you do and lead with passion and make that your goal, I believe that everything starts to fall into place. Things become aligned. You meet the right people. You meet the right mentors, coaches, business partners, joint venture. And it's like the universe is responding to you. And I think that's the number one shift that startups, new business owners, and even people that have been in business for a while and just feel like something's missing, or like, I know there's more out there for me. And if I only had this, I tell you, if you shift the way that you operate from coming from a place of service, everything will slowly start falling into place.
So I guess what I'm thinking, I'm thinking service. So a lot of people, and when I think of service, I'm always thinking of like the giving, the caring, that piece of it. So like I think of nonprofits, or I think of foundations. So is that something that you think should fit in this? Is that something, where exactly, what would you consider? Like, give me an example of what you would consider this whole service with the why. Can you just give me kind of an idea? And then possibly, I know you have a nonprofit. What got you into that piece? Because I don't know necessarily that someone needs to start a nonprofit and do their business at the same time. I don't know if that's exactly, I believe that's what you're talking about.
That's a good clarification. Yeah. Obviously I do have my own nonprofit, and I support multiple nonprofits, and I'm always donating. I just came back from a high level mastermind group where they did a donation for one of the nonprofits. I was the first one to donate $1,000, and then 5 minutes later they did a second a nonprofit, and I donated $1,500. So like in less than 10 minutes, I donated $2,500. That's just what I do, but that's not what I'm specifically talking about. Number one, is create clarity on whatever your product, whatever your service, whatever your business is, who's it serving? Like, what's the purpose behind it? What's the goal? And make your intention not about how many sales I can make your attention on how many customers I can serve by whatever your product or service does. So I'll give you an example. Like if you're a home contractor, right? Let's say you do roofing, for example, right? That's a business where you could say, hey, I want to have 20 sales this month. Well, my suggestion is, instead of saying I want to have 20 sales this month, is I want to serve 20 families this month. I want to support 20 families in having a good roof over their head, and make that part of the mission of the business. And it's not just think it, it's share it. Our goal is to serve 2,000 families this year by having a good quality roof over their head. That's different than saying, I want to do 2,000 sales this year. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just that shift and that change of it. It's true.
Because
to feel sold to either. I don't believe anybody wants to feel like, hey, you're my number this month. Let's go, right?
Well, everyone loves to buy, but we hate to be sold. We're the only country where shopping is not by necessity. Like, we do shopping for fun. Like, just think about that for a second. We love to buy. We go to the mall not needing anything, and we buy things. So it's not about, do people want to buy? Because of course they want to buy. They just don't want to feel that they're being sold. So if your intention is to make a sale, which let's be honest, most entrepreneurs are trying to make more sales. It's a mindset shift. I'm not focused on sales. I'm focused on service. I'm focused on contribution. Then the energy that's being given out from us human beings will shift. The moment that energy shifts, the receiving clients or customers of yours will feel that you actually care. Because you're not focusing on the sale anymore. You're focusing on the service. And the moment they feel that, it'll separate you from your competitors. It'll separate you from other people that are focused on making that sale. And in the long run, you're also, you're doing God's work, and he's going to pay you back for that. He's going to send you what you need and what you've been missing. And a lot of people don't ever consider this, or don't think it, or just not aware of it. And that's one of my missions. My USP, which is my unique selling proposition, is elevating leaders to monetize their mission and maximize their influence. And our nonprofit organization is called Influence with Love, because I believe that once you get to a certain level where you have influence over an audience or other people or in the world, that you should use that influence for love and for giving back and contribution. And our nonprofit has to do with children. It's all about supporting our next generation. Children are in underprivileged areas by supporting them through entrepreneurship skills and mentorship. And that's what we focus on. And that's something that once you get to a certain level in revenue and finance in your business, that then you start considering opening up your own nonprofit and really bringing in that component stronger into your business. But if you're a startup and you're struggling, look, just focus on what's the mission, what's the purpose. Don't make it about sales, and how can you provide as much value for people, not how you can sell people. Like truly, because there's a difference between that same roofing guy walking into someone's kitchen and being like, how much can I upsell these people? Like, how much money can I get out of these people? Opposed to, how can I truly find the best solution for this family? What do they really need? They need a new roof. You know what? These windows haven't been changed in 20 years. I'm not trying to upsell them on the windows. I know that upgrading these windows to impact windows for hurricane, because they live in Florida, is going to protect that family. And it's my job to sell them on that service because I believe it's going to serve them better, not because I'm trying to make more money. That's the shift I'm talking about.
I love it. I love that. I absolutely love it. So, you touched on something, and I'm just something dear to my heart, and that is young entrepreneurs, because we have a lot of young entrepreneurs watching. We have a lot of parents that are trying to set the model for their children to become entrepreneurs. I mean, they see that, hey, mom's doing this, dad's doing this. How can we bring that together? Do you have any tips or anything that you could kind of help us? Because you mentioned that one of your biggest nonprofits is around kids and entrepreneurships. Is there any tips or skills that you could give the parents and some of these teens that are looking to grow in this?
Well, what I would highly recommend for any parent out there that wants to share entrepreneurship or building a business with their children is really inviting them to attend business growth events, right? Like, I know I do several different events every year. So does my business partner. And I think children, obviously at a certain age, right, in the young teens, can tremendously benefit. And I've seen a few, right? And I know when I see these kids, I'm like, this kid's going to be so ahead of their classmates because they're here at this event absorbing. And it's not just about listening to the information. It's about being around other like-minded individuals, other adults that they see. Oh, my parents aren't the only one doing it. Wow, look at all these other grownups doing this. That will start to mold and shift their brain at a young age, which is going to set them on a path that no other child will be able to compete with, because it's really the differentiator. I mean, you could have asked me this about an adult, and I would say the same thing. I'd say adults need to start going to business growth and personal development type of events and courses, but kids, oh my God, they will be so advanced compared to anybody else.
Right. And that's one of the things that with your nonprofit that you're working on putting together and creating. Do you see yourself putting anything or getting involved with anybody as far as possibly some type of just teaching or special like classes, almost like a and maybe I'm just thinking this is just something adding to maybe, I'm connecting some ideas of what you've said, because I've seen your sites. They're absolutely beautiful. They're so concise. Like, people know where to donate. They know where they can sponsor. They know where they can, be a volunteer, get more information. But do you see yourself doing anything maybe for different, really categorizing different groups, or do you do that now with some of your marketing strategies?
Actually, what we do, hold on one second. Hold on once.
Mhm.
Sorry about that, little technical difficulties. So what we currently have with our nonprofit influencewithlove.org is that we have programs for underprivileged youth. Kids that might not have all the benefits and opportunities that the other children have in their schooling. And we have programs where we've partnered with other organizations that provide educational programs using entrepreneurship methodology and skills. And then we are always looking for entrepreneurs to volunteer to be mentors, kind of like a big brother, big sister kind of program, and to kind of share their experience of what they've gone through as becoming an entrepreneur, so that the kids can learn. Now, one of the things we're also doing is we have something called the Socially Conscious Business Partnership Program, where someone can have a business and they can be a sponsor of our nonprofit through a recurring giving program. And then we incorporate them into educational workshops that we do, which now we open to teens and young adults to be able to attend, to learn about entrepreneurship, to learn about what it is to work for yourself, to start your own business, because we're living in a day and time where the resources are at your fingertips. Between a laptop and a cell phone and an iPad and some internet, you can basically start a business and make money from anywhere in the world. And I think we're in the most technologically advanced time in all of civilization. So the most opportunity is available. And to share that with our youth, share that with children, and let them know that nothing against school, but you don't have to go through the entire education process, which is really not that great in this country, to be successful and make something of yourself. You could start doing it now at whatever age. We have kids that are 9, 10 years old that have lemonade stands, car washing businesses, like I used to have a lawn service, and are making money already for themselves, and they're still in school. They haven't even gotten into high school yet. So that's part of a program that we already have and Influence with Love. And if anyone who's listening right now would love to support with your time, talent, or treasure, you can go to influencewithlove.org, click on one of those donate time, talent, or treasure buttons, and our team will get in touch with you.
I love it. And we'll also have that added to the McKinsey Network website too. So if you guys need to find that there, all the resources will be there, and this will be recorded. It's recorded. So it will, after the show, it will be going up live, YouTube, and also on the McKinsey Network. So I guess one of the biggest things, I always like to ask people is, who is probably one of the biggest influencers in your life to get you to where you're at, that you look back and you maybe one or two people that just, you don't feel like you maybe would have been quite where you're at if you hadn't have had that example or that leadership put in front of you?
That's a really challenging question for me, particularly because I have so many people that I don't want to say were necessarily mentors to me, because I believe a mentor is someone that takes a little bit of an active role to provide value for you in your life. And unfortunately, in my particular situation, I didn't really have anyone that stepped up to that position, which is, I think, one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about doing this for the kids, because I'm like, I wish I had someone that did this for me when I was young. But what has happened is this, because maybe you don't have a mentor, maybe you don't even know where to get one. What I did is I found people that were successful, or at least were achieving what I thought was success or what I wanted to achieve. And I basically figured out a way to get close to them. And what I mean by that is I basically offered my skill set, my service, and I asked for nothing in return. And through that, I was able to build a close enough relationship that brought me up to working with them, but also put me in front of their audience. So I leveraged that relationship and connection to get to the clientele that was my perfect clientele. And I did that, I would say, clearly 3 times in over my career of 15 years. I strategically said, this person's doing what I can see myself doing. I see that they have the right audience. I'm going to provide value to this person. I'm going to contribute. I'm not going to ask for anything in return. I'm going to build that connection relationship. And then I'm going to leverage my association with that person to grow myself and my business. And every time it's worked, and every time it's gotten me higher and higher and higher. And it really comes down to what I said at the very beginning, right? It all comes down to providing service, to being of value, to being of contribution. I didn't come to them and say, hey, how can I work with you so I can make more business, or I can make a sale, or hey, I'd love to partner with you so I can sell to your audience. That's what most people do. And that's why most of them don't get a good joint venture partner. That's why most people don't actually get the relationship connections that they're asking for, because they're coming to them saying, hey, you can do this for me, instead of saying, hey, I'd like to do this for you, and I'm not asking for anything. That's hard to do. And then wait and serve and give and show up. And then the opportunity presents itself and you take advantage. That's what I've personally done.
I love that. I love that. And as far as reading goes, as far as maybe some of the reading or some of the podcast is so huge right now. Who are some of the folks and what are some of the books maybe that you see that are some of the most important for someone that's getting started or even seasoned, that would be a good thing for them to listen to or to read?
So me personally, I'm not a big reader, and I never like to say that, but it's true. I've never been good at reading.
So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the one thing I will say is this, is I'm a very good listener. I'm a good auditory, right? Mm-hmm. So I will consider doing audio books, but my true preference and where I feel I've grown the most is I attend live and virtual events where I can digest the information that the presenters are giving that has to do with the area or topic that I'm interested in growing in, whether that's branding or marketing, whether that's sales, whether that's personal growth, a Tony Robbins event, right? A CEO space event. That's where I truly believe personally, I get the most growth. And I am so busy and I'm so nonstop from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. I don't personally have time to sit and read. I could make the time, but I choose to take that time and put it into attending a live event where I can learn interactively. I can make new connections and relationships, which I can't do by reading a book or listen to an audio tape. I can't make a connection or relationship. I'd rather find the author of the book, go to their presentation when they're speaking, figure out a way to meet them and connect with them and digest it in that 1 day or 2 day event.
Or something. Yeah, absolutely.
That's my personal, but I will say,
I love that. I mean, I'm about events and networking. So the more events and networking, I love to do. And I always look at volunteering is such a huge thing, even at these events, because you really get to get close. You get the backstage, you get to really meet and connect. So real quick.
Well, let me say one more thing.
Go ahead.
In no way, shape, or form am I saying that not to read or reading's not good. But I do want to say this, there's something called paralysis of analysis. Mm-hmm. There are some people that think because they read all the books, like something's going to happen because they read all these books. And here's the reality, ladies and gentlemen, reading the book is not what's going to provide the value. It's not what's going to actually get you to grow. It's implementing what you read into the book and taking it and putting it into action. So for me, I in my mind, I'm like, if I sit here and read, I'm not getting any additional benefit. If I go and network, if I go to an event, I can put into action, I can connect, I can build relationships. And then that same amount of time that would have been spent reading a book or listening to an audio, I can get twice, 3 times, 10 times results of the same use of my time, because I'm like a time Nazi. Like everything for me is, how do I utilize the time in my day? And if I can maximize the hours that I spend doing something to get multiple benefits and results, for me, that's a better use of my time. So I just want to clarify, nowhere am I saying that reading's not good or you shouldn't read, but I also don't want you stuck just reading a bunch of books and thinking that that's going to make you successful, because it's not.
Right, right. Thank you for that. Now, just before we close, I always like to end with a little bit of, I know because you're on the McKinsey Network, we always ask you to bring a little bit of a gift or a little bit of a special. And so I'm thinking maybe you could tell us something that we could possibly get from you as far as some educational tips or some one-on-one strategies, or maybe even have something where we could set up, even if you were in Miami, set up a time that we could meet you face to face and take you to lunch. Set up some type of a strategy, or if you come in on a package, or just get to be around you, influence, maybe go to a mastermind that you have, some type of gift. And I know you're creating some things behind the scenes for us, but could you let us know if we can expect something pretty cool?
Yeah, well, what I'd be happy to do for anyone that's listening to this episode is, I'd like to gift you a ticket to my Brand in 2 Days event. This is an event that we do here in Miami, Florida. We also broadcast it virtually. Tickets are $997, and I'd be happy to gift you one of those, where we'll be talking about branding and marketing over the course of 2 days, and a marketing implementation boot camp where we take everything that we taught in the 2 days of the branding event and we teach you how to market yourself using the branding. That event is $1,500. I would gladly gift that to everyone who's listening. My request would be that they make a donation to our nonprofit. That would be my request. I would gift them the tickets. They make a donation to our nonprofit organization. So you can go to celebritizeyourbrand.com, and right there you can make that donation. And I think you guys will be including, in addition to celebritizeyourbrand.com, you'll be including a link that they can have access as well, right?
Yes. So everything will be on the McKinsey Network. So you could definitely go there and make sure. I think we're going to have it even coded, so that way we know
perfect.
where
Even better.
where we're getting everything set up at. And so I just want to, again, thank you so much. I'm glad you're doing well and your family's doing good, and you has survived the pandemic pretty much, or what we experienced before. And it means a lot to have you here and just take the time and just spend that with us. And guys, I want you to remember, so the biggest thing about the McKinsey Global Network is what we're really working on here, is that every connection creates an impact. So guys, thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you on our next show, and you guys have a terrific day. Thank you again.